This just in. Breaking news. Our top story tonight, Cristiano Ronaldo and Neymar Jr. terminated by PokerStars. Kevin Hart says, let me explain. Also tonight, Cardrunner shuts its doors after 12 years of operation. But I mean, come on. Like there's money in poker training. Next up, could you eat $1,000 of McDonald's food in 36 hours? I'd actually like to know because I don't know what side to bet on. And finally, Bryn Kenney dominating the tournament scene. It's another classic heartwarming rags to riches, to rags and back to riches, to rags again, and then riches story. All of these stories tonight on the news. Let's kick the news off by talking about Cardrunners finally shutting its doors. Cardrunners was founded in 2005 by Taylor Cabey and Andrew Wiggins, although it has changed hands since then. I remember back in the day signing up for Cardrunners and loving the site. It had all of the big name pros like Cole South, and I really enjoyed the overall atmosphere. In fact, Cardrunners was so successful that pretty much all other training sites to date other than Upswing Poker followed an identical model where you'd pay a sign-up fee or you'd pay a monthly fee, and there would be a video released every day by different pros. Upswing Poker, we go for more of a course-by-course model. I don't want to get too much into talking about specific training sites, but the Cardrunners style was certainly the most popular training format that has ever existed in poker. Cardrunners did a lot to pave the way for a lot of the sites today. They created some of the different marketing strategies. They taught a ton of people poker. Lord knows Cardrunner has to have had the most members of anything for sure, particularly when you consider it was big during the heyday of poker. Some of you might not know this about me, but I actually did some training videos for Cardrunners back in the day. I made a few small stakes videos teaching people how to play on the site, and I was really happy to get to work with such great people. Now, I'm also not going to lie, Cardrunners had gone a bit downhill in terms of the talent of the people coaching you. Back in the day, it had the sickest high stakes crushers that everyone loved. Nowadays, it has a lot more small to mid stakes players. I don't even really know their current lineups. I don't want to say anything bad about people that might be good players, but the point is, all of the people that you used to think were sick crushers, well, they've kind of moved on and they're not even in poker anymore. This is a bit off topic, but it always amazed me how similar the Cardrunners logo was to Craigenmore Scotch. I mean, that is basically the exact same thing as that. Same thing. Also closing their doors are PKR. If you guys have not seen this site before, it was a 3D site that you could play on for real money. I actually remember playing on this site back in the day and thinking that the concept was pretty funny, but then I couldn't really multi-table, or you could only play a couple tables at once, so it wasn't really, worthwhile for someone trying to play a lot of tables. I'm not sure what games were like. To be honest with you, I didn't ever play there very much at all, but I was surprised to know PKR was even still running. I kind of like the concept of PKR, but it did feel like they never really got it right. I'm not too surprised to see they're closing, but these are two companies that I've known for a very long time, basically my entire poker career, and it is sad to see them go. For our next story tonight, let's discuss this McDonald's prop bet. I want to open with talking about what the bet exactly is, and then we can go into my thoughts about it. So the bet is between Matt Savage, who's a well-known tournament director, and Mike Norrie, a poker professional. It's going to be happening on May 20th, so it's coming up in a couple weeks. And they decided to bet at 5-1 odds that he could not eat $1,000 of McDonald's food over the course of 36 hours. So he's getting 5-1. The exact terms of the bet are as follows. He has to eat $1,000 worth of McDonald's. He cannot spend more than $200 on salads. He has to spend at least $300 on hot foods, fries, burgers, chickens, and at least $50 of that has to be burgers. Can drink, but drinks don't count towards the total. Cannot remove items from order. Can add to existing order, bacon on burgers. Must eat everything that comes with order. No blender, must eat it as comes. And puking is okay, but forced puke or repeated puke is a disqualification. So he can vomit once basically, and that's it. So he also must always have an impartial observer, and no inflated McDonald's pricing, aka airports. So basically, this guy's got to eat all this McDonald's food over the course of 36 hours. To be honest with you, it seems kind of ridiculous. Some people in the thread are talking about, in the thread on 2+2, are talking about different ways you could try and do it. And apparently, apples cost $1 and they're only 15 calories. If that's actually true or not, I don't know. But at the end of the day, he's going to have to eat a ton of McDonald's in 36 hours. I mean, what does a meal at McDonald's cost? Like $5 to $10? He's got to spend $1,000. The thing to me, I guess, is in these prop bet situations, I always feel that the person that's willing to do it has some plan where they're kind of likely to pull it off. I mean, maybe he thinks it's close and getting 5 to 1 is worth it for him, but at the end of the day, I don't even know if I could get to a few $100s. So you'd have to think that he has some strategy prepared to get through it. Either way, this is a pretty disgusting challenge. No one should ever have to eat that much McDonald's. In fact, there was a documentary done about what happens to your body when you eat McDonald's, and that was over a month or two. This is over 36 hours. He's really going to be in for it. Do you guys think he's actually going to make this? Let me know in the comments below. Next up, I don't want anyone to get too carried away on how big this heater is right now, but Bryn Kenney is slowly heating up in 2017. And no, we're not at Fedor Holes levels of heat yet. We're not at Dan Coleman run levels of heat yet, but we're starting to get somewhere. Let's just take a quick look at what his results are like so far this year. Starting in January of 2017, he got 6 cashes at the PCA, including a first place in the $25,000 event for $400K and a first place in the $50K for almost $1 million. He's also placed in a bunch of these Aria high rollers. He's got some seconds. He's got a first. He's got a variety of different cashes here. And he also got 4th in this Triton Super High Roller for around 4 million Hong Kong dollars. I think that's something around 400,000 or 500,000 US. He's also got some other cashes here and finally won a 100K in Monte Carlo for 1.8 million euros. I mean, this is a serious heater. We're talking over 5 million in cashes, guys. I'm not saying he's gonna end up being the next Fedor or Dan Coleman, but look, let's just say he wins the 300K at Aria. Now he's at 10 million already. Let's say he wins the one drop, same situation. I mean, this guy could win 2 major tournaments from here, and all of a sudden we're putting him on that same level. So I just want you guys to realize that we have a potential Coleman/Fedor heater on the rise. Now, I do hope Bryn isn't being super aggressive again, like he talked about in an interview with Poker News that we looked at a little bit earlier this year, because he has a history of going aggro when he's running up his roll. The thing is, yes, it's great when you run hot in a series of events, and so he's probably won a lot from this, but when you do have a chance to finally get that run going where you build up a roll, if you lose it, you might never see it again. So it might be time to practice a little financial discipline, although if he keeps it up at this rate, who cares? He's going to have millions of dollars. For our final story tonight, we're going to talk about Neymar Jr. and Cristiano Ronaldo leaving Stars, Kevin Hart joining, and is this good for poker? And let's kick it off with talking about the 2 pros that just left. I kind of liked them on the roster. In fact, one of the things I did like about what Stars was doing was they were adding in people that are stars in countries that you want to promote poker in to try and get people to come to the site. And in fact, I imagine there has been an increase in overall traffic from Brazil, from Neymar and maybe Cristiano Ronaldo to some extent as well, joining the site. These people are in areas that are, growing, and you really want that demographic because there are a lot of recreational players, a lot of new money coming up. It's definitely one of the most targeted places for poker sites these days. So I was a little surprised to see them go. They were also part of the whole PokerStars Raise It promotion. I thought that they were probably happy with what they were getting. It is a little bit surprising to me to see these pros go, but we don't know the deal. Maybe they asked for too much money. Maybe the data didn't support keeping them. Whatever it was, they're no longer with Stars. In fact, I believe affiliates are being asked to not use their images anymore. They're trying to remove their names to do with PokerStars at all, or at least maybe it's just not part of the contract anymore. Now, Kevin Hart has since joined PokerStars, and he showed up in PCA, was playing a bunch of different events. I think he was at Monte Carlo. I'm pretty sure he was in both events, has played a bunch of tournaments, and is generally making a splash in the poker scene. It is certainly good for poker to have people like Kevin Hart or those 2 sports stars jumping in and playing poker. And whenever people get angry on the forums and say, oh man, this is my rake at work, like this is what I'm paying for. I'm paying for Kevin Hart to jump into a 100K. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that. Kevin Hart, while it's a little bit weird because he's from America and that demographic can't play poker, he still has millions and millions of fans across the world. Do you want them to know about poker? Because I certainly do. That's good for everyone. It's that reason why I didn't really like Dwayne Wade as a PokerStars pro. I think he's also left, not 100% sure on that. But his demographic is mainly America. That move seemed kind of weird to me to add him to the roster. With Kevin Hart, he's such a big name celebrity. You're going to get people from everywhere because he's in so many big movies that he's just a really well-known person. This allows you to hit people you would never hit otherwise. And yeah, I think spending marketing dollars to bring in those people is not only good for the site, it's also good for poker. So we should encourage these things. Not to mention for the high roller circuit, look, if I'm in a high roller and Kevin Hart drops by to play, I'm not complaining. You know, I'm pretty happy with the way that works out. And while I know that's only for a small percentage of poker players, I think its overall benefit helps everybody. I will say though, this is going to make that game that we came up with last year a lot trickier.
Want the intense action of a tournament, but you just don't have the stamina? Well, there's a new game in town, and I bet you'll only last a minute. Minuteman has all the features that poker fans need. Lions, clocks, dolphins, statues, yeah, and
Kevin Hart.
rotary saws, monkeys, ceramic pottery, belt sanders, chips, and cards. Have I mentioned
Kevin Hart.
you're gonna win a fortune playing this?
Kevin.
Guarantees it.
Results may not actually be guaranteed.
Here's your chance to get on the pitch with
Kevin Hart.
and get off in 1 minute.
Thanks for joining today. And remember, guys, we have a giveaway going. Check out the link in the description below if you want to win 5% of my Scoob action.